show. All right, it's time for entertainment news, and this is brought to us, as always, by D&M Auto Leasing. You can call them at 972 or 817-35-LEASE. And if you tune in every morning at this time, you know that this is when we always do entertainment, entertainment, entertainment news for you. So it is time to get a little flashlight going, step inside the Copenhagen room, and say good morning to the most abrasive, over-the-top individual ever to work at the Little Ticket, the great Gordo Gordon Keith.
Thank you so much, Gregory. Thank you.
Morning.
Don't play this music. Come on. Eminem and Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
All right, I won't do that story. Well, up there in Washington, President Bush has warned Iraq and other hostile countries that the United States is prepared to use overwhelming force, including nuclear weapons, in response to any chemical or biological attack.
Wasn't that a bit shocking to hear that?
Yeah, it really was. And Al Gore came out in support of that.
Boy, something is going on. They got information that these suckers are going to try to launch.
All right, here's my question. When Bush issues that warning, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that, does that affect the wackos that we're dealing with and about to go to war with?
You know, my first thought is that it does.
You think so?
Because Bush is starting to be seen as such a hard-ass and such a warmonger around the world now, to them, that I think that is a deterrent. Saying, look, this guy is so eager to go to war with Iraq, and now he's talking about using nuclear weapons if we even release any chemical agent over there. I think that it would scare a few countries.
But doesn't Saddam Hussein, for instance, not care at all about that kind of stuff?
I don't know.
Doesn't he have a suicide mentality regarding his country?
I don't think so, because he surprised everyone by apologizing for invading Kuwait. And they're trying to, they released that report that they were required to release several days early.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he's trying to avoid conflict right now.
I think he is too, and I think that they realize, hey, now we can't just get away with what we want to get away with.
Right.
And, well, I don't know. I hope it never comes down to that, but it may.
Could you imagine?
Oh, my gosh. And the fallout, I mean,
wow.
Where does that reach? If we had to nuke Baghdad or wherever, and then is there an immediate response? Does it trigger something else from God knows where? Shot over here.
Once we open that door.
I know it.
Well, it never comes to that.
Speaking of biological attacks, the military will be ordered to inoculate 500,000 troops against smallpox under a plan approved by President Bush. Vaccine will eventually be made available to all Americans who want it, by 2004? Is
that right?
Wow, that's a ways.
Give me the vaccine.
After our talk yesterday and after Robert Riggs from Channel 11 came on the show with us, I want the vaccine now as well.
Now?
Right this second.
I would take it right now.
But you can't get it.
No. As a matter of fact, you can't even get the flu vaccine. I called my doctor's office, and they don't have any. So if anybody out there knows where I can get a flu shot, call me on my voicemail or email me at gordon@gordonkeith.com.
If anyone knows where I can score some amoxicillin, give me a call.
Hey, I got an email from one of the Brothers Black yesterday, and he's 3 years older than you and me, George, and more than that for you, Gordo. But he says in 62, I think, he got the smallpox vaccine.
They stopped it in 72.
Right. So what I'm saying
What's the one that leaves the little mark on your arm?
That's smallpox.
Okay,
Do you have that?
Yeah.
See, I searched my arms last night, and I couldn't find that. But I always remember seeing that on my mom and my dad.
You don't have it, George.
Let's be on the other side. Hey, I know I got it.
I don't say it, buddy.
Right there.
Let me see.
See, I couldn't find
it. That's it.
That's a cancerous growth.
Could it also be polio?
That's a cancerous
Says Fernando.
growth. No, you take that as a sugar cube.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he said that if you had it as a kid and looked for that mark, then you ought to go ahead and get it again because it didn't kill you then. So, so your body accepted it in a decent manner, so you shouldn't fear getting it again as an adult.
I swore I had it. Maybe
See, I always thought I had it too, but I couldn't find my mark.
Well, I want it. I want to get smallpox where I know I can never get it again. That's the way it works?
You guys had chicken pox, right?
Yeah.
You had it as an adult.
College. and it was awful. I thought I was going to die.
Wasn't that the
Get
worst?
it in college.
You just, sometimes you don't get it until you're an adult. And I had kids in my neighborhood that, came down with it, and I just never got it. And I got it in college, and I thought I was on my deathbed. The older you get, the worse it is.
Yeah, I got it when I was 16, and you get those little things everywhere on your body.
Isn't it horrible?
Oh,
everywhere.
I was probably 10 or 9 when I had it, but it still sucked.
Nowadays, they give kids vaccines for that.
Do they really?
Yeah. Which I thought was unusual, because if you get it when you're 5 or 6, it's not that bad, and you're not going to get it again.
I never hear about chickens getting it, though.
No?
Why isn't it called human pox?
I don't know. What's that pink stuff? Calamine lotion?
Yeah.
You guys have to put that on your chicken pox?
Yeah.
Stop the itching?
Pox. I hate that word.
I do too. It's gross.
Yeah.
Pus.
Yeah.
65% of Americans said they would choose the vaccination despite the risk associated with the vaccine. That's up from 59% in May, so more people are wanting the smallpox vaccination. The Pentagon's latest test of a missile defense system went awry. An interceptor rocket that was launched in the Pacific failed to strike and destroy a Minuteman II ballistic missile launched from an Air Force base in California. The cost of the test, $80 million.
Wow.
Just for this test. It's a 120-pound interceptor. It was supposed to destroy a dummy warhead at an altitude of about 140 miles. It failed to separate from its booster rocket, and it missed its target by hundreds of miles.
Okay.
That's $80 million well spent.
Trent Lott is still apologizing. He is bending over backwards to apologize for his remark that if we had elected Strom Thurmond, the country wouldn't have some of these problems that we're having today. Now, Strom Thurmond ran in '48 as a segregationist.
The Dixiecrat Party?
The Dixiecrat Party, and carried Trent Lott's state of Mississippi.
They dug up something on Lott where he said the exact same thing at a Strom Thurmond fundraiser like in '83 or something.
In 1980, he made the same statement to the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
He said at a rally, if we'd elected this man 30 years ago, we wouldn't be in the mess we are in today.
That's unbelievable.
And
he claims he wasn't talking about civil rights or anything like that. He was talking about, what, foreign policy or what?
I don't know what he said he was talking about. He said, the words were terrible and I regret this. This was a mistake of the head, not of the heart. I don't accept those policies at all.
Did you see the footage of this? Strom Thurmond is there propped up in this wheelchair sitting next to him, and Lott is at the...
On a heart-lung machine.
Yeah, he's got all sorts of apparatus around him, apparati. Anyway, when Lott says that, Strom Thurmond has this smile on his face, but then he just sits there with this shocked look like, oh, God.
I'm old and even I realize he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Dang.
So is he going to be forced out? Is he not going to...
I don't know. I don't think so, but there's growing fury over this, and a lot of people wanting President Bush to speak out about it.
Yeah.
I doubt he will. New York City leaders have agreed to a ban that would prohibit smoking in nearly every bar and restaurant and virtually all workplaces. Now,
man, that is huge.
Yeah, what?
What's going on?
What was that?
That was a foul word, it sounded like.
Yeah, so the mayor proposes this thing, and now the city leaders are behind it, and it's going to happen. A ban on smoking in New York City.
Can't go to a bar and smoke.
No, there are only a few exceptions. Outdoor cafes, private clubs, such as the American Legion halls, a lot of smoking goes on in those things, and places without employees.
You know what's weird up here?
Places
is that
without employees.
For those who go smoke, like Rich and Big Strong, there are places outside that they can't smoke.
Oh, I know. You
Like
have to be so many feet away from an entrance.
The new courtyard, with all the nice wooden benches and everything and flowers. And
that's always been marked as no smoking out there.
Why? I'm with you guys on that. You have to sit on the park bench and smoke.
I think their concern is that you're throwing cigarette butts down on the ground. Fine, give us an ashtray over there and we won't throw cigarette butts on the ground. That's what they've done out front at the flagpole.
No, I think it's because non-smokers want to enjoy that area.
I think it is, too.
How sad is that?
And then we saw somebody get busted the other day for smoking too close to the building. Was that Big Strong?
Yeah, Big Strong and I think Gay
some
from the
gals
Bone.
from the Bone, yeah.
There's also like in the parking garage 2 designated areas that are smoking areas in the parking garage.
Right under the heater?
Well, at some point,
No,
don't you get...
no, they put a heater there, presumably for smokers, yet there's a sign right under it that says no smoking by order of fire marshal. And people stand under it all the time.
Aren't you beaten now to the point where it's like, okay, why do I smoke?
I don't go outside during my air shift and smoke anymore. I haven't for probably a year now.
Good for you, Rich.
Thank you. But as soon as I get done with that air shift, boy, I got 3 of them burning.
Ow, brother.
Got 3 of them. John
One in
Entwistle,
each nostril, one in my mouth.
the dead 57-year-old who used to be in The Who,
Unbelievable.
he died on June 27th in Las Vegas, and he died from
Heart attack.
cocaine.
Oh, cocaine-induced heart attack.
Cocaine, yeah. They say that cocaine stopped his heart. This according to a British coroner. They say the amount of cocaine wasn't very large, but it was enough to stop his heart, which was already weakened from years of smoking and high cholesterol.
Wasn't enough to stop the tour, but enough to stop his heart.
And who did you hear it from first? I
zoo
told
guy
you
just got an
there was
I
no
know.
way they were going to stop that tour.
It shows you that the bass player just doesn't get enough respect.
No, No, Guns N' Roses and other musical news, they've pulled the plug on that tour finally.
Good.
Officially, it's happened. And
It was
refunds,
failing?
They weren't showing up.
they weren't showing up for gigs, and there was only about half people would show up for their gigs, the audience. It was just a failure all the way around. It was their first tour in 10 years. Why didn't Axl give it up? First of all, give up that name. It's not Guns N' Roses. It's Axl and some other guys.
Right.
None of the original Guns N' Roses guys are in it.
Call it Axl and Buckethead. That's the name of the guitar player, Buckethead.
Okay, I'm with you, Rich.
Thanks,
I won't
George.
lay out on you.
And Stereolab guitarist and singer Mary Hansen was killed in a cycling accident in London this week. She was 36. That was a critic favorite band in the 90s.
Can't say I remember them.
They sang "Start Spreading the News."
Really?
No,
Thought that was
Sinatra.
Sinatra.
Yeah.
Sinatra.
I don't know.
Any details on her accident?
No, just a cycling accident. So let this be a cautionary tale for you, Junior.
All right, I'm
Stop
quitting.
cycling before it kills you.
Based on that story, I'm
Do
quitting.
you fear that? Do you fear the car not paying attention and skidding out of control and
Yeah, I guess I fear
throwing
it,
your
but
junior body in the air?
I don't think about it. I think I'm extra careful when I ride, and I don't blow through intersections and stuff like that. And I always assume that the driver can't see me. So I think, but you know, it may happen. But if it happens, I'll die happy.
And I want to take this opportunity to get back into the debate we had about the celebrity list being sent to.
Not getting
Please,
back into
no.
that. You wear a
Did you get a bunch of email on that?
Yeah, and I just sent everyone back. I just said, I'm sorry.
I am too. I quit.
Birthdays. TV host Bob Barker is 79.
And still working.
You know, I like him.
Why? Because he's a sexual harasser?
No, that he was found innocent. That was that Diane that I don't think
He was cleared of all
I
charges.
believe him in that case, and he
I
seems
know.
like a nice guy.
He's like an old perv to me.
Stop it.
Former New York City Mayor Edward, is it Koch or Koch?
Koch.
It's Koch, okay. Wasn't sure how to pronounce it. He is 78.
Wow.
Man, doesn't he have a radio show now? Or did?
Used to.
Used to have a TV show also.
Is it Connie or Connie Francis?
Connie Francis?
Okay, she is 64. Dionne Warwick is 62.
Oh.
That's what friends are for.
That's a beating. Is she the one that does the psychic hotline now?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What a beating.
So solid gold.
Ugh.
Rocker, is it Dick or Dickie Betts is 59?
Dick.
I think it's Dickie. Gymnast turned actress Kathy Rigby is 50.
Absolutely, you bitch.
Oh, jeez.
Grego.
What
Is
else?
she the one who would do the tampon ads and do the
while
splits?
jumping on a balance beam.
Yes, no one needs to do the splits on the balance beam while they're doing one of those ads.
Singer-musician Sheila E., 43.
Greatness.
Actress, is it Jennifer Connelly or Jennifer Connelly?
Connelly.
Connelly, and she is so hot.
She's 32.
Yeah.
Hank Williams III is 30, and actress Mayim Bialik is 27. TV's Blossom.
Blossom.
You remember that dumb show, 80s, late 80s, early 90s?
Lawrence on it.
Barely. I don't think I ever
Did
saw
that
it.
goofy dance with the hat on at the beginning?
Her
of
nipples.
it?
Oh,
Grego.
Come
on, Grego.
He couldn't handle it.
On her nipples.
All right, that is a little E-News. Thank you, Gordo. It is 7:27 here on Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. Let's try not to fart. Okay, let's also talk about some uncomfortable moments from last night's Mavericks broadcast next.
Hey, now, Hardline here. Big Thursday presentation today. Michael Irvin's going to be on at 4:30, and the second half of our John Hart interview at 5:10. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be fun. Trust me on it. The Hardline, 3 to 7.
The 49ers beat the Cowboys.
Thought the Cowboys might pull it out there for a while.
Dallas drops to 5-8.
And to me, it's just kind of like lifting your skirt up and saying, well, let's hope that Billy Conniff hits a 47-yarder, which he can't. And even if he does, let's hope we can keep him out of the end zone, which we can't.
So much for the winning streak. Cowboys-Giants, Sunday at 3:15. Our countdown to kickoff begins Sunday afternoon at 1 on Sports Radio 1310. The Ticket, www.theticket.com.
We were out at D&M Auto Leasing yesterday. A lot of P1s stopped by, and if you've been thinking about that new car or that new truck, that new SUV, D&M Auto Leasing is the way to go. Lease, don't buy, because when you lease at D&M, they don't require a down payment. That saves a lot of money right there, and they lower your monthly payments 30 to 40 to maybe 50% from buying.
They can do that because they are the largest leasing company in town. Give you things like maintenance-free lease. You never have to pay for maintenance. You have the bumper-to-bumper warranty for the entire lease. No mysterious payments at the end of the lease. You just turn the car back in. Get you another one at D&M by calling 972-35-LEASE or 817-35-LEASE.
Also shop online. It's dmautoleasing.com. A lot of 2002 closeouts available right now to be leased. You can save extra money there. You can also go that pre-leased vehicle and save even more money at D&M Auto Leasing, where they make leasing easy, brother.
Well, the K&G holiday event just keeps rolling along, and the deals just keep getting better and better. This week, for the first time ever, we're selling select men's suits for just $69.99. They come in a variety of solids and patterns, and most of them are 100% wool. Some even have designer labels, and they're yours for just $69.99. If you're more of a sport coat kind of guy, you're in luck. Select sport coats are just $39.99. Round out that sport coat with some select Famous Maker dress shoes for just $39.99 and select 100% wool pants for just $29.99. If you're not a suit or a sport coat guy, don't worry, there's still hope. Select hookup tops and matching pants are just $14.99 each, and select long-sleeve sport shirts are just $9.99. Wow! Of course, we also have a wide variety of holiday gifts for under $20 and money cards in any amount. It's the K&G holiday event going on every day until January 5th. Remember, at K&G, we don't have sales, we have events. K&G, for men, for less. Call 1-800-GO-SHOP-KG.
Would you buy a laptop without a screen? Drive a truck without wheels? Fly an airplane without wings? Of course not. Yet in the world of application servers, this is exactly what you're expected to do. Buy something that's incomplete. Unless you choose Oracle. The Oracle 9i application server has all the middleware you need. With Oracle, you get a single software product to run all your applications: Java, Portal, application integration, wireless, and more. And because Oracle 9i application server comes complete with built-in business intelligence, you get the facts you need to make better business decisions. Oracle 9i application server. Learn more at oracle.com/9ias. That's oracle.com/9ias.
Stick it up your tailpipe.
On I-35 Simmons, northbound, just right near Woodall Rogers, there's an accident. And westbound 635 LBJ, delays there begin at Skillman's and last up till about Preston. With the ticket, Stick It Up Your Tailpipe traffic, I'm Jennifer North.
I'm Rich Phillips. Tippett can't figure out his old team. Next on the Ticket Ticker.
Cavender's is filled with great Christmas gifts for the people left on your list. Take advantage of our incredible selection of Larry Mahan boots, plus great Wrangler wear at prices you'll love. Save $50 to $200 on Larry Mahan boots. Larry Mahan smooth ostrich ropers only $119.99. Larry Mahan full quill ropers only $249.99. Full quill westerns $269.99. Carhartt basics, great for the outdoors, 10% off. Now top it off with a Stetson 3X Silver Belly felt hat for only $99.99. Plus, we've got chukkas and work boots, leather and outerwear, and much, much more, all on sale. Check out these great deals. Wrangler 20X shirts and jeans, $5 off. Wrangler denim work shirts, $18.99. Wrangler colored work shirts, $24.99. Wrangler rigid denim cowboy cut jeans, $19.99. Don't forget to pick up your free Wrangler heavy-duty tool bag with your purchase of any 2 Wrangler items while supplies last. Great layaway plan. Free Wrangler heavy-duty tool bag. Free Western gift bag and tissue paper. Because when it comes to decking halls with bows of boots and jeans, 'tis the season of full quill ostrich and Wrangler dreams. Only at Cavender's.
With approved credit, dealer retains rebates. See your ad in the Dallas Morning News.
Town East gets you rolling with pride.
We're blowing them out, Metroplex. It's the year-end clearance at Town East Ford. Hundreds of 02s and 03s have got to go. We got to make room for new shipments. This weekend, only for just $200, you can get any new Ford on the lot. Now that's a year-end clearance. Get a brand spanking new 03 Ford Ranger, just $99 a month. $99. How about a new F-150 for just $199 a month? You can even get America's best-selling car, the Ford Focus, for just $99 a month. Town East Ford has the largest selection of Super Duty trucks in the state. Call 800-321-1065 for details. That's 800-321-1065. Or log on to towneastford.com. Get to the year-end clearance, because these deals end Monday night. Only at Town East Ford on LBJ across from Town East Mall and Mesquite. Keeping the Metroplex rolling.
Town East gets you rolling with pride. Ticket picker.
Dave Tippett spending the last 3 seasons as an assistant in Los Angeles. Ticker brought to you by Ultimate Electronics and Fitness HQ. So far, he hasn't been able to exact any revenge against his former team. Stars shut out in both meetings so far with the Kings, including 3-0 last night. Things so bad that Marty Turco gets pulled midway through the game after giving up all 3 goals on just 8 shots.
Things aren't going to be easy for us all year. We didn't expect them to, but we got to prepare like it's going to be hard every night. And tonight, those guys smothered us, and we couldn't get it going, and we were ready to go it all.
The Stars still tops in the Western Conference with 39 points. Mavericks run on empty. They play back-to-back games, and they do it without their leading scorer and rebounder. Spurs pulling out the 111-104 victory in San Antonio. The diagnosis on Dirk Nowitzki changes from a high ankle sprain to a normal sprain, which is less serious, but could still keep him out a week. Cowboys on the field yesterday to start game planning for the Giants. They have nothing to play for, but Brandon Noble says they aren't going through the motions.
It shouldn't be hard to focus. This is your job. This is what you do. Guys are, playing, and every time you're out there on the field, you're showing your ability. So people, its focus isn't a problem at this point.
For the first time since 1994, teammates are among the finalists for the Heisman Trophy. Miami's Ken Dorsey and Willis McGahee are among the 5 who will be in New York Saturday when the honor is handed out. Sports Radio 1310, the ticket weather. Cloudy skies, maybe a shower today. 52 the high, 47 currently at DFW Airport. Ticker service of Dave and Buster's, 3 Metroplex locations, 75 in Walnut Hill, Stimmons in Walnut Hill, and now in Frisco at Stonebriar Mall. Our next ticket ticker is at 7:50. Breaking sports news first, guaranteed. I'm Rich Phillips reminding you the featured item of the month on the website is the official Ticket wristwatch. Order yours today logging on to theticket.com.
Dragons Panthers. It's South Lake Carroll and Lufkin in a high school football semifinal. Saturday afternoon at 1 on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
Norm is going to be at Star Power this morning from 10 until noon. That's Star Power at Oaklawn and Avondale in Dallas. So stop by, check out Norm, check out some of the latest in electronics, and get some holiday gifts for your... What was that?
You want to explain that?
Jeremy, what was that?
Told me to play it.
Jeremy, I want you to remember one thing.
Yeah.
Your way in this world is through the musers.
I'm sorry.
So be careful in there.
Not with drops just out of nowhere.
I was just listening to Doo-Doo Fernando over there.
That's okay.
He's wanting to do his own
Don't
show.
worry about Doo-Doo Fernando.
Sorry.
All right, this is the Dunham Miller Show. It's
all right.
7:36 on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. Coming up here in 15 minutes, Sopranos Talk. That's at 7:50. And then at 8:10, our little buddy Troy Aikman is going to join us to talk pro football, talk about the Cowboys, talk about the game he saw last week. They got to see Michael Vick.
I'm going to ask him if he misses the game.
All right, we can do that. So a big morning here on the show at 8:50. Mark this down. Don't miss it. Hippo Talk. And before we get into the Mavericks observations from last night, thumbs up to Sports Illustrated. We haven't talked about this week. They finally named Lance Armstrong Sportsman of the Year.
Deserved?
Yes, very deserved.
I guess.
Long time coming. I thought he should have won it in 99, but at least they finally recognized him. I think it hits newsstands today.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'll probably get it at home today. And Rick Riley wrote the article on him, and I think he's one of the best writers in the business, so I'm looking forward to reading the article.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And I saw a story last night on the news, because I always get this question once a week via email. Why does the U.S. Postal Service sponsor Lance's professional cycling team?
Right.
When first of all, why do they sponsor him? And then secondly, isn't that a waste of money for a company that's losing money? It just so happens NBC News did a thing on the U.S. Postal Service and how they're really in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, they spend about $10 million a year funding Lance's team. There are other sponsors that are involved in the U.S. Postal cycling team, but the U.S. Postal puts in $10 million to be the big title sponsor. You know how much U.S. Postal Service lost last year?
How much?
$680 million. Whoa. $680 million they lost. So that $10 million that they sponsored Lance's team with, that's like a nickel to them.
And they're trying to drive business to the overnight delivery package thing, more than just mailing something.
Yeah, that's what the gist of this story was. They're losing money, not because they spend $10 million a year on a bicycle team, which, by the way, they get that back tenfold in advertising. I mean, having Lance on the cover of Sports Illustrated twice a year with the big U.S. Postal logo,
that'd be huge.
That's huge, and him on TV all over the country, for the whole month of July, that's huge. So they make their money off of Lance. Where they're losing money is battling UPS and battling FedEx, and no one is using regular mail anymore because everybody emails their friends. No one writes letters anymore, and everybody pays their bills online, so they're not mailing their bills in anymore. And so last year, the U.S. Postal Service tried to hike prices again on stamps and all of this, and they just can't play catch-up with FedEx, with UPS, and with the Internet.
I guess the unstable thing about it is, though, it is a branch of our federal government somehow. Yeah, they are somewhat funded by the federal government.
Yeah, it's not subsidized like most government branches, though.
But you're a federal employee, though, right?
You're a federal employee, but I believe the Postal Service is completely self-funded by postage rates and not by the federal government at all.
I think that's true.
Okay, but what if you have the $680 million loss? Who picks up that?
They're dealing with it.
I think it's that they're considered a separate entity.
Yeah.
Even though you are still a federal employee, I think your only federal benefit is probably insurance or retirement.
And in fact, they've talked about Bush has a plan to name, I don't know, a mail czar or somebody to try to oversee this and to try to bring this thing back to, somewhere near the black.
There's a thought of making it really privatized. I mean, really making it a private venture. Mm-hmm. And that means it won't cost 37 cents to mail something to Iowa now. It would cost like $1. Yeah. Because right now what they're doing is it's not cost effective at all.
Yeah, they'd hire carriers privately, and they said in the story last night it costs the same thing, 37 cents to mail a letter to your next door neighbor. Same thing it costs to mail a letter to the bottom of the Grand Canyon that has to go on a mule still.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that, should cost a lot more.
Sure.
Than mailing it next door. It should cost 10 cents to mail next door and $2 to the bottom of the Grand Canyon or whatever.
Run it like a business.
Yeah. So interesting stuff there, I thought. All right, to the Mavericks game from last night. We had a choice what network to watch the game on last night. Mavericks are in San Antonio. It's a national ESPN game. ESPN carried it, and locally you could watch it on Channel 21. I chose ESPN.
I watched a little bit of both. I think I watched more of the local guys.
I chose ESPN for a couple of reasons. I always like to hear the national perspective. We get beaten down by the local perspective, but I always like to hear what the national broadcasters say. And did you notice the difference in picture quality?
Now, at my house, it was better on 21.
Wow. At my house, it was so much better on ESPN. Watching it on 21 was like watching it in black and white.
See, I thought the opposite. I thought it was more out of focus on ESPN.
All right, so maybe it was just your individual house.
Yeah, I guess so.
Whoops. Anyway, Bill Walton had a lot of praise for the Mavericks. He wrote that article about a week or two ago that we went over on the show, and it was called Dismantling Dallas or Diffusing Dallas, something like that.
I believe Diffusing
Dallas, where he exposed all their weaknesses and says, don't believe in this record. They still have a long way to go, blah, blah, blah. Well, last night he mentioned a lot of that stuff on the broadcast, but he also said that right now, if the season ended, his MVP in the entire league would be Steve Nash.
Really?
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
He loves Nash.
I flipped over at the end, and I thought I heard them saying, now they might have been talking about San Antonio, I don't know, but were they talking about the Mavericks as if you had to pick a team that could win the title, why not the Mavericks this year?
I didn't catch that.
I thought they were talking about the Mavericks because they were showing Nash and Finley, and I thought that's what they were saying.
They had an interesting stat that Tim Duncan has had more big games, higher scoring average against Dallas than any other team in the league. And on Friday night, the same stat was shown about Shaq, that his scoring average against the Mavericks is higher than any other team in the league. There's no coincidence that these guys, these dominant big men, have their biggest games against Dallas, is there? It's because of Dallas's interior defense. And did you see Bradley last night?
Oh, my gosh. The first quarter, I almost felt like turning the game off in the first quarter.
If anyone still believes that he plays defense, all you had to do was watch that first quarter.
There was an exchange where Duncan spun on him, scored. They go back down. Mavericks take a shot. He wasn't even close to getting the rebound. They come back down. He puts his back to, I think it was Parker, had no idea where the ball was. By the time he turned around, about halfway turned around, Parker was already by him and the ball was in the basket.
Mm-hmm. And everyone will
That's
say,
when they call timeout.
Everyone will say, well, yeah, Duncan and Shaq and Robinson, they abuse everyone, but not to this extent.
And the thing is, it's guards who abuse him.
Right.
Guards score on him, and they take it to the basket. They attack the basket, and they fly right by him. And the Mavericks got off to a terrible start. And that, was it Tony Parker?
Mm-hmm.
He goes nuts last night. He hadn't been shooting worth a dang. He goes nuts last night. And I think a lot of it was he got confidence early because he got a couple short shots, some of them being flying by Bradley.
You know how about bad he was shooting coming into this game?
He was awful.
He had missed 65 of his previous 95 shots in 8 games.
And you know what?
Last night.
The Mavericks' philosophy was he's shooting so poorly, just leave him wide open.
Right.
I don't think that's how you play. If a guy's shooting poorly, stay on him.
Well, yeah, you don't want anybody from San Antonio, if they start getting some outside with their inside, you're dead.
And so, granted, the Mavericks were without Dirk, they were without Nahara, and that's going to hurt him inside. But still, even with those guys, there's still that question, do they have enough inside defense and presence to slow down big men like that in the playoffs? And I don't know.
So much for the new Bradley, too.
Yeah,
don't even.
Last month, he's been back to the old Bradley.
Terrible.
One very tense moment on the ESPN broadcast, it was on the pregame show. Stuart Scott, your guy, had Don Nelson on.
I saw he had him on and didn't hear the audio.
It was so uncomfortable. Stuart Scott was talking street and then started singing to Nelly.
What?
Stuart Scott started singing, "It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes." And Nelly's just sitting there staring at the screen.
Because he doesn't know Nelly.
Get your clothes off.
And so Stuart Scott is singing that and singing it for a long time. And Nelly's just real uncomfortably kind of smiling and giggling. And then at the end of the interview, Stuart Scott sang, is there a Nelly song, I Love You, or something like that?
Maybe.
He was singing that to Nelly.
Can we get rid of him?
Stuart Scott is the biggest beating in network television.
You don't like street sportscaster guys.
No, what I don't like is
fake
this.
street. I don't like fake street sportscaster guys.
And you know something? Whether you like it or you don't like it, the majority of America doesn't talk like that.
Bull poopy.
Bingo.
If a guy, I don't sense that Stuart Scott is really street.
Well, he may not be. I think he's entertaining, though. I think he's funny. I think it's funny when he rolls Spurs Maverick highlights and when he sees Avery Johnson and does his Avery impersonation. I think he's funny.
Well, maybe that might be funny, but when you're talking a language that a lot of people don't even understand.
That's a racist comment, Fernando.
White guys just can't understand.
That's a racist comment,
Fernando.
How can you black people talk like that?
The majority of people don't talk like that.
I don't have a problem with that.
Some do.
And
that doesn't bother me. It bothers me that he forces his shtick and it doesn't sound real.
And I got a clue for you, Fernando. most white kids in high school do talk like that.
Yeah,
Well,
they
you know,
do.
they're not everybody that's watching the NBA.
Well, no, but they're trying to appeal to a younger audience.
You can appeal to them and still make it palatable to everyone.
You're getting old and bitter in there, Fernando. Yes,
and I
you are.
understand most of what he's saying, and it's still weird coming from him.
You need to endorse the greatness of Stuart Scott.
Don't.
Got to go, because we got an important segment. Oh, boy, we do have to go. Look at the time, because up next, Sopranos Talk.
On the 18th of December, you need to remember to give us a toy at Car Toys in McKinney. Drop off a new unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots from 5 to 7 at Car Toys on Central at 380 in McKinney. We've got free stuff for everybody that donates. Arby's Market Fresh sandwiches and gifts from Dave & Buster's and Pro Cuts. It's the Ticket Car Toys Toy Drive, presented by Miller Lite. Wednesday from 5 to 7 at Car Toys in McKinney. Ho, ho, ho! Better way to go! Sports Radio 1310. The Ticket. www.theticket.com.
Great time to have LASIK eye surgery done at the Booth Eye Care and Laser Center, because for the holidays, the great Dr. William Booth has lowered the price. LASIK eye surgery now starts at $495 per eye. That's right, $495 per eye. It's a silly now at holiday time at the Booth Eye Care and Laser Center. Call 214-328-0444. That's easy enough. Just call today, ask about the free consultation. No pressure with the free consultation. You go in, examination, the price workup, all of that, talking with Dr. Booth, all that's free. 214-328-0444. Find out if you're a candidate for LASIK eye surgery and have it done by the best, Dr. William Booth, who was voted by D Magazine as one of the best doctors in Dallas in the October issue this fall. He's performed over 31,000 successful LASIK surgeries, and he would love to talk to you. 214-328-0444 for the Booth Eye Care and Laser Center.
One of the leading universities in North America is located right here in town. But don't expect any football games, frat parties, or marching bands. Because we're University of Phoenix, and we became the largest private accredited university in North America by focusing on just one thing: higher education for working adults. Instead of football fields, we compete in fast-growing career fields. Our fraternities are Fortune 1000 corporations, and with real-world education, we march only to the beat of success. At University of Phoenix, you can earn your bachelor's or master's degree without interrupting your job, and you can earn your degree years before you could at other universities. Okay, cue the band.
University of Phoenix is now enrolling for the winter term. Please call 1-800-MY-SUCCESS today to schedule a visit to our convenient Dallas location. That's 1-800-MY-SUCCESS.
Hey, Larry, where are my shoes?
Larry's Shoes has 7 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, Bedford, and now there's a Larry's grand opening at the Parks Mall in Arlington. Every one of them is having a major holiday sale right now. Where else can you save 25 to 30% off Cole Haan, New Balance, and Kenneth Cole? No place but Larry's. This week, grab any of these brands, including the New Balance 991 for only $89.95. You'll find some unbelievable buys for under $90 at Larry's Shoes holiday sale. But hurry, this sale ends Christmas Eve. Larry's also has a huge selection of shoes like Rockport, Nike, Timberland, Meslin, and Echo. So don't miss Larry's holiday sale this week. The prices are so low, even Santa's singing.
Hey, Larry, where are my shoes?
7 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Louisville, and Bedford.
Nextel, home of Direct Connect. It's how business gets done.
Stick it up your tailpipe.
Northbound on I-35 Stemmons, there's an accident near Commerce. With the ticket, stick it up your tailpipe traffic. I'm Jennifer North.
I'm Rich Phillips. They can't survive with just the big 2. Next on the Ticket Ticker.
So installers, remember DirecTV has over 130 channels for $39.99 a month. Now, here to tell you about a special promotion with Showtime, I've brought in this guest speaker.
Hello.
So pay attention, guys.
In a family's home, a visitor installs a connection to the dark reaches of space, where they discover 9 channels of Showtime Unlimited, free for 3 months. When every channel is in digital quality, you need the DirecTV Showtime Unlimited offer, coming to homes everywhere.
Oh, that was excellent. Sir,
they gave away the plot of the whole offer.
Everyone's a critic.
Now let's get out there.
Now get Showtime Unlimited with exclusive hit movies, one-of-a-kind original series, and championship boxing, all free for 3 months. Just buy a DirecTV system and order Showtime Unlimited with a year of any Total Choice programming package. Call 1-800-DIRECTV or see a participating retailer. DirecTV. Feel the joy. Offer ends 1/11/03. Hardware and programming sold separately. Pricing subject to change. Restrictions apply. See retailer for details.
William Shatner here for Priceline.com hotels. They just don't know when to stop. More high-quality hotel rooms, more premier locations, more hotel savings. And for a limited time, Priceline's digging in to get you an even better deal on a Thanksgiving week hotel room during Priceline's first-ever Hotel Super Sale. Thousands of name-brand hotels are up for grabs at lower than Priceline prices. The Priceline.com Hotel Super Sale. The best hotels at the best prices guaranteed. See website for details.
For the first time all season, Mavericks play without one of the big three. Ticker brought to you by DeVritis Collision Repair and your Nissan dealers. Dirk Nowitzki could be out a week because of a sprained ankle. So far, Mavs 0-1 without him after a 111-104 loss in San Antonio. Nick Van Exel says they just failed inside against Tim Duncan.
We had to find ways to get him, but we were sort of trying to block him out with the smaller guy, and they was just swinging the ball, getting open looks. Tim did his thing in the third, got him really going.
Duncan, 22 points, 13 rebounds, hitting 10 out of 15 from the floor. Baylor racing out of the gates to a 5-1 start. Bears hold off Louisiana Monroe, 79-74. Dwayne Goodrich disputing his former teammate's claim that he slept through meetings. DeJuan Hawthorne firing off some shots as he signs with the Niners yesterday. Goodrich better be prepared this week since he might have to start in place of Derrick Ross, who has a bad hip. Stars dismantled at home 3-0 by the Kings. Daryl Sador says they held a 15-minute players-only meeting after the game to address their mini slump.
Last few games haven't been the way we started the year, and I think everybody understands. I mean, we had 10 games here, something special, but you know what? We got to start it over again.
Pete Rose bet on his own team, against his own team, rather. That's the latest allegation from John Dowd, the Washington attorney whose report 13 years ago brought down the all-time hit king. Dowd claims if he had been given more time in '89, that he would have been able to include that information in his report. Rose trying to get back into baseball, possibly back as manager of the Reds. Sports Radio 1310, the ticket weather. Maybe a shower this afternoon, a high of 52, 47 currently at DFW. Ticker for service of Nextel. Our next ticker is at 8:10. Breaking sports news first guaranteed. I'm Rich Phillips, reminding you to remember the time you spend listening to Dunham Miller Mornings on Sports Radio 1310, the ticket.
It's Aikman at 8. The real Troy Aikman joins Dunham and Miller every Thursday morning at 8:10. Brought to you by GM Goodwrench Service Plus and WFAA TV Channel 8.
Sports Radio 1310, the ticket.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Warmest greetings, tickheads and ticket chicks. 7:54 on the ticket. I would be George Dunham.
I would be Craig Miller. And I would be Gordon Keith.
And we are here talking sports and all that implies for the next 2 hours now. And I can't think of a better time to have a little edition of Sopranos Talk, Junior, than right now. Because we had our final episode this past Sunday, the big hour-and-a-half finale on HBO.
Yeah. As
So
you know, this is the first year that I've gotten into The Sopranos.
This makes 2 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very happy that I started watching this show because I've heard everybody talk about it, and finally I'm watching it, and I've really enjoyed it this fall. The first couple weeks I was dubious, but now I love it. I was left a little empty by the final show.
Really?
Yeah, all the stuff with Tony and Carmela arguing and fighting, I thought that was all really good, and boy,
his world was falling apart there for a while.
Are they not great actors or what?
Yeah, they are.
God, they're really good.
And see, that's what keeps me watching the show, are those two. To me, those are the only two that are likable on the show. Characters that I can really like. Even though there's a lot of sorriness to Tony, and
he is
Carmela's kind of a rib, but, I kind of like those guys, and those characters, and that's what keeps me watching the show.
She is the fattest pig.
It's not that fat.
I don't know about that. I don't know. There's some other likable characters on the show. I think Uncle Junior's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are funny but not likable. I don't know. I don't necessarily watch a show for likability. I just watch it for entertainment.
But you get hooked in if you care about the characters, though. That's how you get hooked on a series like that.
All right, in this last show, did you feel like it left you hanging? I thought more was going to be tied up. I thought something big was going to happen. When Tony met Johnny Sack in that alley, I thought Johnny Sack was going to shoot Tony, or someone would come out of nowhere and shoot Tony.
Yeah, I think that's funny.
I thought maybe Carmine would get offed. I thought someone in the family. I thought something big was going to happen. In fact, at the end, when Tony moved out, and they showed Meadow in her room and she was crying on her bed, I thought she was going to commit suicide there.
Really?
Because she was thinking back to all the time she was rude to her parents. I thought something big like that was going to happen, and nothing happened at the end, except Tony leaving.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I didn't expect anything just huge to happen, so I guess I wasn't tremendously disappointed. You know what storyline that they're really not progressing the way I thought they would? This is number 2. The feds who are onto them.
Yeah, they really haven't done much with that at all.
It's like every other week they kind of reintroduce that, and you know that they're still onto them because they're they got the girlfriend and they talk to her all the time and try to get info out of her, and at some point she's going to drop some serious dime on them, and it's going to blow things up.
You know what else I keep waiting for them to reference? Paulie Walnuts, when he took that painting that Tony had done of him and his horse, and he changed the clothing that Tony was wearing to make him look like somebody else, and Paulie hung it in his own apartment.
Right.
You gotta love this.
And Tony was adamant about wanting to have that destroyed.
Right.
He said, take it out and burn it. And I'm waiting for Tony to go over to Paulie Walnut's apartment and see that painting.
Looking
and then,
like Napoleon?
Yeah, and go ballistic on him and kill him or something.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet.
No, and I mean, it was a good episode. I don't know if they needed an hour and a half to do all that, though.
I'm glad they did, because the more the better.